President. Please be seated. The court is back in session and the floor is given to the defense teams for the accused. And first, you may now proceed, defense team for Mr. Nguyen Chia.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good afternoon, Your Honors. Good afternoon, Mr. Witness. I have some questions for you. Earlier this morning, you testified that you joined military forces in 1973 to fight the forces of Lon Nol. Did you join in 1973 because of a call from late King Father Sihanouk to join the forces, or was it another reason that made you join at the time?
Answer. There was a call in various villages to join the forces in order to save some Dach Au. And at that time, Mong Lewei asked me to go with him.
And the forces that you joined in 1973, were they called the Khmer Rouge forces, or were they called the Cambodian People's National Liberation Armed Forces?
Answer. It was called Khmer Rouge Force by some, and some others called Cambodian People National Liberation Forces.
And when you joined in 1973, did you get a military training? Did they teach you how to use guns, how to ambush the enemy, all kinds of things like this?
Answer. I was trained how to hold rifles and a gun, but a very brief training.
How long did your training last?
Answer. It was perhaps 3 days training.
Did you ever engage in active combat between 73 and 17 April 75? Did you actually shoot your rifle at enemy forces?
Answer. Yes. I used to be in the battlefield in Kampong Chnang. It was called Tulip battlefield. I was engaged in that Tulip battlefield.
Did you get wounded, or did your comrades get wounded?
Answer. Some were wounded and some were dead.
How about yourself? Did you get wounded?
No, I was not injured at that time. I suffered from an injury after 1979.
When you were engaged in fighting in combat between 73 and April 75, did you sometimes work at night?
Answer. Yes. since I was young at that time, I was not actively engaged at night time, and only my senior colleague who was actively engaged in the work were allowed to work mostly at night.
Do you remember in those years that you were actively engaged in combat, how much food you had per day? How much rice did you eat per day, you and your comrades?
Answer: I could not recall it. It happened a long time ago. I did not recall about the food ration.
I understand. Did you or comrades in the forces suffer from malaria?
Answer: yes. Many of us suffered from malaria, and many of us got malaria at different occasions.
When you were fighting, when you were in combat, did you have proper bathrooms?
No. We had our own water container with us, no toilet, and there were no proper eating place as well.
Did you or your comrades sometimes suffer from diarrhea?
Answer: yes. Diarrhea and dysentery. A few of them, or some of them, got diarrhea and dysentery.
Did you or maybe some of your comrades get injured because of accidents?
Some cadres suffered injuries, and as for myself, I did not get any injury. I was asked mostly to go and collect rice for soldiers.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Let me now turn to the period after 1975. The division that you worked in as a soldier was turned into Division 502. Do you know why it was this division that became responsible for or constituted the Air Force of the Revolutionary Army of Kampuchea? Why was it 502 that became the Air Force?
Answer: I do not know. I have no idea the responsibility of 502.
Let us now turn to February, March 1976, the period in time that you said you left for Kampong Chnang airfield. You were a member of Division 502. Do you remember in which squad, which group, which platoon, which company, which battalion you were in? Do you remember the numbers of these respective units?
Answer: I cannot remember all of them.
Were you maybe in Regiment 51, or were you in Regiment 53, or were you in Battalion 503 or Battalion 504, or were you at the division office? Do you remember where you were in this division?
Answer. I knew only 130 and 132. And as for 51, 52, I have no idea.
I understand. From your testimony, I understood that Commander LeVay, sent you on a mission to Kampong Chnang airfield in about February or March. But you also said that people within your division were thinking that you had what you call tendencies. Can you explain to me how it was possible at the time that, on the one hand, people were saying that you had tendencies, but on the other hand, Commander LeVay picked you and apparently 9 others to do the preparatory work at Kampong Chnang airfield?
Answer. It was said that I had a tendency. That is why I was transferred elsewhere away from LeVay. I was removed from my squad. And the workers in the garage worked full day at that time, and it was like the place that they were re-educated and refashioned, and I was transferred into that garage squad.
I understand, but I think you also testified that you belong to an advanced group of 10 cadres joined by Chinese advisors to start preliminary work on a very secretive airfield. So can you reconcile the two? One, you having tendencies, and two, this apparent secret mission to start building the airport.
Answer. I have no idea on this point. I noticed that those who were affiliated with the former regime were sent out, and they underwent hard labor afterwards. They were removed from the office or squads. It was like that we were refashioned after they found out that we were affiliated with the former regimes, and we were told to well behave. I was afraid that I would be arrested at the time, so I tried to work very hard.
I'm having difficulty to understand your testimony. You were sent to Kampong Chnang airfield in February, March 76, together with 9 or 10 other people, only with Chinese advisors. Then subsequently you were working at the garage. That doesn't really sound like refashioning to me. It sounds more like you were instructed as a soldier to do necessary military work. Or am I wrong?
Answer. The place where I work could be compared to the engineering squad nowadays.
Exactly. So why do you call it refashioning? I don't understand.
reason I stated that because I was told to work full day every day. Before I was working in a more relaxed team and groups, and now I was moved and transferred to the squad that I had to work a full day every day. And when I was moved to the garage squad, the food ration was not like before. I did not have enough food.
The Revolutionary Army of Cambodia was formed, I believe, in the summer of 1975, the rainy season 75. What was the task of the Revolutionary Army of Cambodia, to which Division 502 belonged? What were the two tasks of every soldier within the Revolutionary Army?
Answer. Some were tasked with protection and some were tasked with construction work, and some other would be assigned to dig the canals or to work in the field. And as I stated, some groups were asked to work in the construction team. So these are the tasks and duties of the soldiers.
Thank you for that answer. And doesn't the work at Kampong Chhnang airfield done by the soldiers fit exactly in the task of the Revolutionary Army, which is to defend and build up the country?
Answer. I have no idea. I only noticed that soldiers were called into that work site. Soldiers, many of soldiers were called in to work there. And we did the work according to their call or their instructions.
I understand, Mr. Witness. Earlier this morning you used the words, when you were describing tasks of the army, you used the words core task. The work done by soldiers in 76 to begin with, wasn't that the core task of Division 502, building up an airport in order to defend the country?
Answer. I have no idea whether their task was to defend and protect the country. We were told to be engaged in the construction, and we complied with the instruction, and I have no idea about the thing that you stated.
I understand, Mr. Witness. Before I will ask you a few questions on about the conditions on Kampong Chhnang airfield, I would like to ask you some other questions. I believe after the liberation you were also stationed at Pochentong Airport. Were you able to see in that period in time you belonging to the Air Force Division, of which military planes or helicopters the Air Force of Democratic Kampuchea consisted of? How many helicopters, how many planes did Division 502 have?
Answer. I do not know. I cannot recall it. I did not dare to go inside and have a look. Only those who were tasked with a specific assignment could go into that place. I was I was staying east of the airport. And I would see airplanes every 2 days or every fortnight, and I did not see airplanes every day.
I understand that you were not allowed to go into hangars, but is it fair to say that the Air Force of Cambodia, Democratic Cambodia in 75, 76, consisted of only a very few Dragonfly helicopters and one or two very old propeller American airplanes? Would that be a fair summary?
President, please hold on, Mr. Vinay. You may now proceed. International Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is a very suggestive question here that introduces evidence and we don't know where it comes from. There's no mention of documents. There are no references, nothing that allows us to give objective value to what Council Kopp is sharing with us. So if he wishes to refer to documents, he should do so before putting these questions to the witness. Thank you.
It's not a very important question, but the information comes from a document that the prosecution itself uploaded on the interface. So, but I'll move on. One other question that I have to you, Mr. Witness, is also relating to situation that Division 502 might have been dealing with. Have you heard in February, March 76 anything about bombing by jet fighter planes of Siem Reap? Bombing that occurred on 26 February 1976?
Answer, I did not know. I never heard of it. I never heard people saying about this incident.
I was asking you because you said you were close to Deputy Commander LaVey. You don't remember him saying anything about this? Or something, or hear something on the radio? Radio Phnom Penh saying something about bombing of Siem Reap?
Answer, no. I never heard of it.
Have you ever heard of grenades being thrown at the Royal Palace at around the same time, February, March 1976?
Answer, no. I did not know. I never heard of it. People did not mention about this. And there were no broadcasts. It was quite silent at that time.
I understand. Now moving on to the Kampong Chang airfield. You said that you were one of the first cadres from 502 to arrive at the scene. Is it correct that in Kampong Chang, in the surroundings, there was also an airstrip already built by the Americans that was subsequently used by Division 502? Or do you know nothing about an airstrip which was built by American forces earlier?
Answer, I heard it was located in the west of Kampong Chhnang new airfield.
far west was it? How far from the ultimate location of Kampong Chhnang airfield?
Answer. It was perhaps 20 kilometers away from the Kampong Chhnang airport construction site, perhaps 20 kilometers away from my estimate.
So it wasn't used at all by Division 502, is that correct?
Answer. No, it was not used. The old strip was not used. And they planned to use the new strip, but the new strip had not been completely built.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, moving on to your work at the airfield. You said that your work consisted mostly of taking care of the vehicles in the garage. Am I too simple now in my summary, or is that basically the task that you were doing?
Answer. I did not know how to repair anything other than building the garage. I did not know how to repair the vehicle. I was engaged in building the garage hall. It was another squad who was in charge of repairing vehicles.
And were you also a driver, or were you only involved in building the garage?
Answer. No, I could not drive a vehicle. I was there to repair the garage, not the vehicles. I was there to mend, to re-innovate the garage, and again, I did not know how to repair the vehicle.
I understand. Maybe you gave testimony to this, but I'm not 100% sure if I heard it. Was this the main task of you, being in the garage, or building the garage, or were there other jobs that you did subsequently before 79? Or was this the main focus, or was this the main element of your work?
After I was told to build and repair the garage, I was then told to go and grow vegetables. We did the construction during the daytime, perhaps in the morning, and in the afternoon we had to go to grow vegetables.
But working in the garage and growing vegetables, was that all you did until the Vietnamese came?
Answer. I did these two assignments until the Vietnamese came into the country. And at that time, we played and we parted each other.
I understand. Now, Mr. Witness, can you explain to me why your working conditions at the airfield were so much tougher than when you were in combat? When your comrades died, you were living under harsh conditions. Why is it so much worse, apparently, after March, April 76. Can you explain that to me?
Answer. The work became more difficult because I was told to work day and night, and the disciplines were becoming stricter and stricter. Much work that we had to do, and 4 or 10 of us needed to complete the task that we were asked to do. If we could not complete, we would be reprimanded.
But complete exactly what? You were repairing the garage, and you were you were growing vegetables. What were your quota? What exactly did you have to do that made it so hard?
The work was difficult. As I told you, sometimes I couldn't finish the work or to meet the deadline as they requested. And I didn't have enough break time. Sometimes I only had an hour break time, and I had to resume at 7 p.m.
But you were a revolutionary soldier, Mr. Witness, building and defending the country. Surely not having an hour break is not that bad. I didn't hear your answer, but you said yes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Just a second, please.
Council Copper, please wait. President Judge for Defense, you have the floor.
As counsel well knows, the question is based on a misrepresentation of facts. The witness didn't say the only reason why it was difficult is because he didn't have 1 hour break. So we advised the witness not to answer, and the question, its tendency was inappropriate.
And why is that, Judge Fens?
You know why.
No, I don't. Explain to me, please.
I'm happy to reread. Frankly, for me, you sounded as if you were a person from that time, reminding the witness, threatening the witness, reminding the witness of his obligations. There are other ways to put a question.
I should not say what I want to say now. I'll move on, Mr. Witness. The other cadres from Division 502 who started working in '76 at the airfield, let me first ask you the question, how many cadres of 502 started working at the airfield? Were there hundreds or were there thousands of Division 502 working at the airfield?
I do not know the total number. I had no idea at all. Some had been transferred to work at the airport work site, while others were transferred to work at the provincial town of Kampong Chnang. So I cannot tell you the total number of cadres or the total number of soldiers from the division.
But were most soldiers who came to work in the early months after February, March '76, did they belong to Division 502?
President Witness, please wait. And the International Deputy Co-Prosecutor, you have the floor.
Thank you. I think it's a bit of an ambiguous question. A bit too general and does not take into account the various phases of arrival of workers and soldiers onto the site. So is it right after his arrival? I can understand. But if counsel is... or rather, if he's referring to militaries from other divisions, then I don't believe the question is precise enough. And there may be some doubt in the witness's mind as to the scope of your question.
I'll rephrase. Mr. Witness, the first 6 months after your arrival, how many cadres were roughly working, and were they mostly from Division 502?
Initially, there were about 10 of us, or a bit above that, maybe 10 to 20 soldiers, but I did not know everyone. So the figure is between 10 to 15 or to 20.
But I'm now referring to the moment when there were many soldiers arriving at the airfield. 500 or 1,000. When did that happen? Was that in the first 6 months after your arrival? Or can you tell us something about the build-up of forces working at the airfield?
I think the number 26 to 27 increased to about 1,000 workers. But I cannot tell you the exact figure. This is just my estimate, as various units work at various locations. Some worked at the far end of the airfield work site. So I cannot say whether my estimate is correct.
And these 1,000 soldiers, were they mainly from Division 502, or did they also come from other divisions?
Most of the workers came from the division or from the East Zone or from the other zones, since I did not know exactly which zones they came from. However, the field work site was full of worker soldiers. And only when I came through the work site, then I realized that there were many workers on site.
Let's concentrate on the soldiers from Division 502 between the moment that you came and 77. Were they, do you know, assigned to work there because of them belonging to the Air Force Division, or were, like yourself, or were they there working for other reasons?
Not all soldiers came from the Air Force. Many of them came from various other zones or from various districts. And some soldiers, like myself, who were familiar with the geography of the terrain, were assigned to work at the airfield work site as well.
But do you know whether these forces, comprising of about 1,000 soldiers, were sent to work at Kampong Chang airfield because of their military work, because that was part of their military duty, or were they sent there for some punishment reasons?
Through my understanding, some soldiers were sent to work there as part of their military duties, while others were there when they were being disciplined. And they were sent there for refashioning.
Now let's focus on that last group. Can you give me any example of some soldier from one zone or another zone that was working in that first year because he was being refashioned?